Welcome to New Perspectives on RVN Television. I'm your host, Barry Lefkowitz. Today's consumers are looking for new checking or savings accounts, a loan or a line of credit to maximize their dollars in a market that provides small returns in these areas. However, most people don't realize that they have more choices than just the myriad of local and national banks that are vigorously competing for your business. Just look at your mail every day. An often overlooked option for these sort of products is what is referred to as a credit union, which offers many of the same types of financial products and services you can get at a bank. Banking institutions are for-profit entities, while a credit union is a non-profit facility. There are advantages that both banks and credit unions offer to their customers. As a consumer, you have to make a decision whether a bank or a credit union will best service your particular needs. My guest today is Daniel Sulpizio, Executive Vice President and Chief Operating Officer for First Harvest Credit Union located in Deptford, New Jersey. Dan is going to help us understand what is a credit union and the advantages he sees between being serviced by a credit union and a bank. Dan, welcome.
Thank you, Barry. Thank you for having me.
Now, as young as you look, you have been involved in financial world for a long time. And by the way, we'll let your audience know you just became a grandpop.
Yes, thank you.
Can you share with the audience your background and expertise?
Sure. First, I got to say thank you for the compliment, Barry. That's great that I look that young. I appreciate that. I have actually been in the financial services world for 40 years. 36 of those years I spent in commercial banking, and the last 4 years I've spent with First Harvest. So it was getting into the credit union space is certainly different. As you mentioned, earlier, a lot of people don't realize the value of a credit union. You certainly mentioned that the commercial banks are for profit, and we're a nonprofit entity. So there's a lot of advantages to joining a credit union. We offer lower fees most of the times. We offer higher interest rates on deposits, lower interest rates on loans. And the service is exceptional. I mean, that's really what we pride ourselves on.
I'm curious, why did you choose to go into this particular line of work?
So I have a long career of volunteering. I really believe in helping the community. There's so many different boards and entities that I've participated in throughout the years and still do. With a credit union, our main role, of course, is helping our members, but really being involved in supporting our communities. So I was able to marry that nonprofit status along with helping the community. Just a perfect example at First Harvest, on an annual basis, we donate and support entities to around $200,000 a year in charitable giving. We do scholarships for our members. And we really have a platform of education. So I was, again, able to marry that the nonprofit status with giving back to the community. So that was really important to me and it appealed to me.
Yeah, fantastic. Can you help us understand what is a credit union?
Sure.
Especially since most of our audience is not even aware of a credit union.
I'm going to be honest. I knew of credit unions while I was in the commercial banking space, but I really didn't take a deep dive to fully understand what it meant to be a member and how you get membership. When I first joined the credit union, we were under a different name at that point. And
it wasn't First Harvest?
It wasn't First Harvest. When
Okay.
I joined, we were South Jersey Federal Credit Union.
Okay.
When you look at, a lot of credit unions have names such as Federal and the word union. And a lot of people shy away from even inquiring about a credit union because of those two words. They think, well, it's a union, or you've got to be part of the government to join. And that's really not the case. In fact, one of the things that we did, we actually secured a URL called "What the Heck is a Credit Union?" So that a lot of times what we do is we post that in our advertising so that people go to that site and understand about the credit union and certainly about First Harvest. But there are many different paths to membership. You know, credit unions really evolved in the 1800s, and they really came about because the wealthiest individuals were really being serviced by the financial industry at that point. And folks that were really in the challenged area, the socioeconomic areas,
Right.
they didn't have access to banking. So the credit union movement was formed at that point. And you actually become a member of the credit union. So once you join the credit union through whatever path, there are many credit unions offer many different paths to membership, you actually own a piece of the credit union. You're a voting member of that credit union. And that's who we're owned by. We're owned by our members.
Now, I'm curious because you raised an interesting question. How you said there are different ways you can become a member. Could you explain that?
Sure. So at First Harvest, we have a community charter in certain areas. So if you live, work, worship, study, or do business in a certain area,
Okay.
then you can actually just join the credit union. Another way that you can join the credit union, we all know that right now, hiring employees becomes very difficult, right, and giving them benefits. So we allow employers to come to the credit union and say, hey, we'd like to become a member and offer the benefits of the credit union to our employees. And that's through our Select Employer Group program. So a company can come along and request membership. Our board reviews that and approves it. We get approval by our regulator, which is the NCUA, and then anyone that works for that company, and along with their family members, can join the credit union.
Interesting.
So there's plenty of paths to membership, to joining a credit union.
Now, I know when we were doing the pre-prep, and you and I have met several times from a business standpoint, can you share with us, because apparently, whether it was called South Jersey or First Harvest now, it's actually been in existence 83 years. And I know that there was a reason it got its unusual name, so give us some education.
So yes, we have been in business this June. It's 83 years. The credit union started really on the Delaware River in Camden through the shipbuilders, and has grown. It's changed its name a few times. When I joined, it was South Jersey Federal Credit Union. I think that probably had one of its longest periods. But we are the fourth largest credit union in the state of New Jersey. And what that really means asset-wise, you know, we're the largest. We have eight locations. Every time we looked to find a partner to really grow, you know, if you start looking anywhere above 195 in New Jersey or going into Pennsylvania, especially above 195, we're not rooting for the Philadelphia teams. We're really not rooting for, you know, people in South Jersey. No one wanted to be called South Jersey Federal Credit Union. So if we were to acquire or merge with another credit union, that's what the name would be. So it really restricted us geographically. Okay. So we thought, how do we continue to grow this credit union? And let's do a name change. A lot of folks still believe that it was an acquisition, but we were the same management team. We just changed the name. So what we did is we hired a company, and we said, listen, we really want to stay true to our roots. Help us determine a name that would really do that for us and also allow us to grow. So we conducted some focus groups with our members. We hired this company. They did a lot of research for us, came back to our board, and our board selected the name First Harvest with the tagline, a better place to grow. So we thought South Jersey being the Garden State kept us in with harvest. And also, we're looking to attract a younger demographic, right? We want people to know that we have a lot of the same services that they can get at the bigger banks, a lot of the digital applications. So we thought a better place to grow will help us to attract a younger member, and they can grow with us throughout their life. As they grow, their relationship with the credit union can grow.
So you're actually targeting millennials, I assume.
Yes, because initially a lot of people came to us, and until we just did some upgrades to our core operating system, we really were lacking in the technology. But now we have that all together, and we thought, what a better place for us to look than to, because we found that a lot of people that joined our credit union, they joined our credit union because their parents joined. And that's usually how people get banking services. It's like, okay, well, my parents belong here, so that's where I'm going to open up the account. So we wanted to make sure that we're attracting both ends of the spectrum.
Now, what are some of the interesting historical things that have kind of taken place over this I mean, 83 years is a rather long time.
Yeah, yeah. Of course, yes, I am a little bit older, but I wasn't around that long.
No,
Barry.
no.
But the credit union did grow substantially, and our few years ago, the former president and CEO that was there had been with the credit union for 40 years. What we have found, we have employees that have been with us over 40 years as well. People that seem to come to the credit union to work tend to stay for longer periods of time. So we've seen the whole credit union evolve, the whole movement evolve. What we've done is, and I like to talk about the current situation of the credit union, is really to the point where we believe in educating our people. We believe in making sure that we're servicing our communities, we're servicing our members, and we're servicing our employees.
You've talked about the fact that you now have 8 sites,
Yes, we do have 8 locations.
and where are they located?
So we have, believe it or not, as I just talked to you about the geographic restriction, we have an office located in Williamsport, Pennsylvania, which is 4 hours from here, and it's First Harvest Credit Union, but it used to be South Jersey Federal Credit Union. So it was difficult to have a location out
Sure.
there. But we have locations in Camden, Pleasantville, Mount Laurel, Voorhees, Glassboro, Deptford. So we have a nice footprint to service our members. And what is really great now with the new enhanced technology that we have, where we can actually compete much better with the commercial banks, we find that people don't need to have those branch locations as much as they did before because the technology is there. Whether it's through a mobile app, whether it's through online banking, we actually just upgraded all of our ATMs. So there's plenty of ways for people to really access their funds that don't need a branch. Our Glassboro office, we pride that as a loan center so that people can actually go there, close a loan. We are very heavily involved in Rowan Boulevard, which is where our office is located.
Right.
And we want people to go there and spend, close a loan and spend the evening and patronizing some of the restaurants that are there.
What's interesting now, the kind of things you're talking about, in regards to the ATM, being able to do online banking and so forth, those were some of the things that the banks said they were an advantage against credit unions. Am I correct?
That's correct. Yep.
Okay.
And it's interesting, when I started my banking career, as many years ago, when ATMs first came around, of course, we all refer to them as Mac machines. The biggest push we said was we're going to do away with, checks. We're going to do away with cash. We still have not seen a tremendous drop in what people are doing with cash and checks. Now, the younger generation, they don't seem to carry as much cash. They use debit cards. But of course, now fraud has increased tremendously as well. So, we have to be constantly looking at that on how we can protect our members.
Going off script, now that's an interesting point because I think people are becoming greater and greater with consternation about being hacked and fraud and so forth. And so what is First Harvest doing in order to make people feel comfortable in the safety of their being able to do transactions?
Yeah, it certainly is a reality. The amount of people that get hacked on a regular basis, their email accounts get compromised, their
Right.
online banking gets compromised. So we send out to our members via Constant Contact and through other media channels, we send them regular information on how to protect themselves, how they can help protect their passwords. We find that a lot of people do the same habits. When you get a password for one sign-on and you use it for the same multiple applications, which is really not a good move. It's very convenient, but it's certainly not a good move. And we also provide on our website a lot of information that we want people to go look at to say, okay, this is what you need to do if you do get hacked. These are the steps you need to take. And of course, our people are available all the time. As we start to see fraud, we kind of communicate that to our member base as well.
All right, we're going to have to do that thing known as a commercial break. So please stick with us, and Dan is going to share with you some of the advantages of a credit union versus a bank, and also address what had become a very scary moment when some of the banks we're beginning to close. So don't go away. We'll be right back.
What makes a Wawa Club? Is it the crispy bacon on the turkey BLT? The endless layers of flavor of the buffalo chicken salad? Or is it a secret handshake? Nah. At Wawa, there's a club for everyone. Find yours today.
We Ride for Those Who Died. The Police Unity Tour and RVN Television is bringing to you a show called On Your Honor, Straight Talk. And I'm your host, Patrick Montouri. I am a retired police chief from Florham Park, New Jersey, and I am also retired from the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial in Washington, D.C. I am currently, for the last 27 years, the CEO and founder of the Police Unity Tour. And this show will bring to you straight talk about law enforcement, the actions and heroism that is provided to you, the citizens of the United States, as well as their actions in falling in the line of duty, as we could see some of the stories that surround that. Again, please watch us on RVN Television and be safe. Take care.
At Jersey Mike's, they slice your order fresh right in front of you. And let me tell you, watching that can send a rush of emotions through a person. Excitement, impatience, baby-like wonder, indecisive, anticipatory chewing, nervous pacing, happy claps, and finally, jealousy, because that's this guy's sub. I should order one. Good idea.
Sliced right in front of you. It's a Jersey Mike's thing. A sub above.
What makes a Wawa Club? Is it the crispy bacon on the turkey BLT? The endless layers of flavor of the buffalo chicken salad? Or is it a secret handshake? Nah. At Wawa, there's a club for everyone. Find yours today.
We Ride for Those Who Died. The Police Unity Tour and RVN Television is bringing to you a show.
Welcome back to New Perspectives on RVN Television. My guest today is Dan Sulpizio. Dan is both the Executive Vice President, Chief Operating Officer for First Harvest Union, and is really helping us understand about banking and credit unions and so forth. But when we went to the break, we were talking about this significant and very scary for most people issue of fraud. And so you were giving us some things that First Harvest is doing, but I know that you wanted to pick up on this whole theme about fraud so people feel comfortable, especially dealing with First Harvest.
Yeah, we have seen a tremendous, and I say we, I mean the financial services industry in general, has seen a tremendous uptick in fraud. Whether it's individuals' emails or phones being hacked. And lately, we've seen a lot of our...
For a second, you said the phone's being hacked.
Yeah, because what happens is, it's very easy for someone to get information from whether it's LinkedIn or Twitter or Facebook,
right,
to get cell phone numbers and then send anonymous text messages so that people will respond to those. And this happens a lot, as I was starting to mention about elder abuse, because the exploitation for elders right now, a lot of the romance schemes send money to this person, send money to that person, whether they be looking for cryptocurrency or whether they be gift cards. That really has skyrocketed. I've seen situations where people have worked in the same building where they'll get a bogus email saying maybe from their boss to go out and purchase gift cards for me, and this is what I want you to do, and people fall for that. People have to understand that if you get an email and it doesn't look right, a lot of times it probably isn't.
Yeah.
A lot of times what they'll do is they'll call back the number that's in the body of the email. Let's say you got an email from a vendor that you're familiar working with. You want to get the number yourself and call back and verify that. You don't want to take for granted what's in that email. So it's very important to take those steps, and we provide a lot of that information on our website, as do a lot of other banks as well. And everything's relevant. So as our size, we should have our share of fraud, and then the larger institutions have a bigger share of the fraud. So
it's the old thing, buyer beware.
yes, yeah.
From your perspective, what do you see as the advantages that you feel First Harvest as a credit union can deliver to your customers versus a bank?
Yeah. So, and we refer to our customers as members because once you join a credit union, you become a member. You're an owner, right?
Right.
Really, as I mentioned earlier, if you look at the service fees, because we're a nonprofit, as a nonprofit, we don't have the same earnings pressures as these for-profit companies do.
Okay.
So, we're able to offer our discounted fees and better loan rates and better deposit rates. So, but really the service, we like to get to know our members by name. We like to make sure they feel welcome. We don't have Barry coming in where we have to make sure that we're selling you products and services that you don't need. We want to make sure that you get everything you do need, but we don't want to give you things that you don't.
Now, you say that you can give better loan rates and so forth, and I mean, at this time period, a lot of people are attempting, and I've heard stories, from colleagues that banks aren't loaning money.
Yeah, actually they are. I haven't seen that there's been a turn down in the or credit tightening, I should say. What we have found, though, is that there are less people coming in. If you think about it, we've just went through a period of time where loan rates were their lowest they have been in the longest period of time.
Right.
So the refinance business for mortgages, that has disappeared, right? So the only mortgages that you're really looking to underwrite at this point are people who are moving, right, or first-time home buyers. And then if you look at the home equity market, you're seeing an uptick in the home equity market because people are still going to renovate their home and put money back into that asset, but they're not going to be refinancing what they had before. And of course, talk about the vehicle market, it's a supply and demand issue at this point. So as far as the autos are concerned, and trying to compete for that business is very difficult because you can walk into a dealer and they want to make sure they put you in that car if they have it. They want to put you in that car today. But since there's not a lot of inventory, it gives us a better opportunity to compete for that business.
Now, you said you used the term supply and demand. Could you explain that to us?
Yeah, well, as we know, you used to be able to drive to a car dealer and find a full lot of vehicles.
Right.
And now they're parked on angles just to take up space because there really is not a lot of there's not a lot of supply. And they have found a new way of doing business, and that is, maybe you want the blue car, but you're willing to settle for the white that's on the parking lot. But if you really want what you want, order it, because the dealer now doesn't have to pay for what we call floor planning to
Right.
pay for all of those vehicles each month. They can just order what they need.
Interesting. You briefly mentioned, and I know we talked about it when we did the pre-prep. You stated that credit unions, unlike many banks, are very active in communities and in providing education. Can you give us some examples so that people can really see, what you're talking about when you say, active in the community, and then
Sure.
the educational piece?
As I mentioned, we had, just last year over $200,000 in donations and charitable giving that we did, whether it's for, Habitat for Humanity in Gloucester County, or whether it's for, a local Rotary Club. We're very heavily involved.
Rotarian.
Yes, and I'm a past president as
Yeah.
well. Very important for us to really stay active in those communities. And as far as the education, on our website we have a program called Money EDU that anyone can access. We have programs on budgeting. We have programs on credit, how to build and sustain your credit. There's so many programs that are available for people to use. In addition, we in a lot of the local schools, we support a program called Money Moves. And we supply workbooks to these students. As you know, financial literacy is a requirement,
big issue.
right, to graduate. It wasn't when I was young. So what we do is we supply these workbooks. So teachers actually teach the program, and then if the school wants, we'll come in, like I've done many classes, come in as a guest speaker and talk to the students with what I call a life skills program to try and help them get through. So we're available to speak in schools. We offer scholarships. Right now, our scholarship program that we have, we've had so many people apply for the scholarships. We have another $7,000 in scholarships going out this year.
Now, is that for students within your particular region?
This is for the scholarships that we offer are for our members. So if you're a member or your family's a member of the credit union, you can do that. We also offer a program called Tuition Rewards. So we're the only credit union in New Jersey that offers this program. We offer our members 5% rewards points for every year for all of their balances that they have with us. And those rewards points are used to offset a 4-year degree in over 400 colleges and universities throughout the country. So you can then reduce your tuition significantly for your child.
Neat, really neat. Now, we often see, and it's usually, when you walk into a bank, it says FDIC, which became very prominent when we had the recent meltdown of the two banks. What provides protection of people's monies in a credit union?
Yeah, so under the credit union, we're insured by the NCUA, the National Credit Union Association. So our depositors, as normal, a normal credit union, of course, would be up to $250,000. What a lot of people have to understand is that's per account title. So Danny has an account, I'm insured to $250,000. Danny and Barry have an account, that's another $250,000.
Gotcha.
So you can actually maximize your insurance. Even with the FDIC, same way, you can maximize the insurance that you have at any one financial institution. As at First Harvest, we actually pay for what we call excess share insurance. And so our depositors are insured to $500,000. So, you open up an account, it's $500,000 with us. So that's another advantage, of course, that we have over a commercial bank. But we even on our website, we have you have the ability to go to our website and kind of put in the calculator that will show you how to maximize your insurance with us.
Now, we've kind of touched a couple times on, about the turmoil in the marketplace and the fact that, we had the meltdown of the two banks. From your perspective, should people be concerned? Because, they're also talking about the fact that some of the major banks internationally seem to be having trouble. So can you sort of share with us a perspective on it, and should people be worried?
Yeah, people should not be worried. We haven't had, quote-unquote bank failures in a long time. Whether it's the FDIC or the NCUA, they're there, of course, to support the local institutions. But like anything else, you've got to rely on that financial institution to make sure that they're controlling their risk and that their regulators. Our regulators, they test us on a regular basis. They stress test us to make sure that we're looking, at all the right controls. What happened here was, we had people we had a low interest rate market, and people were buying long-term investments. Then all of a sudden, the Fed raised interest rates very quickly, and now, you're out of balance, right? Because you've got to work on. I've got these long-term investments that are paying. Certainly not a huge return for me, yet I still got to keep my capital position. So that had an impact on a lot of folks, and I think with the institutions that failed, they had to keep a better control on their concentration risk. You don't invest all of your assets into one thing. Like in your 401k, you want to make sure that you're really kind of diversifying your portfolio. So.
Now, we've actually run out of time. If you could look in this camera right here and tell people how they can contact you for First Union.
Yeah.
Right here.
I would say the best thing to do is you can visit us through all of our social media channels. Visit us at firstharvestcu.com. Give us a call. We'd love an opportunity to talk to you, let you know about the benefits of membership, and also check out the What the Heck is a Credit Union site.
Dan, thank you so much. To my audience, as always, I thank you for welcoming me into your homes each and every week. Please stay safe, stay well, because we still have issues with pneumonia, the flu, COVID, everything else. Next week, we're going to have Dr. Richard Benkin, who is nationally and internationally renowned, talking about anti-Semitism. So, see you next week. Take care.